Imagine this, a single haunting photograph from 1871, frozen in time at the infamous Danvers State Hospital in Massachusetts. In it sits a 9-year-old girl named Catherine Doyle, her gaze piercing through the lens like she's staring right into your soul. But those eyes, they're not the innocent eyes of a child. They're ancient, knowing, filled with secrets that have puzzled doctors, scientists, and historians for over a century and a half. What if I told you this image isn't just a picture? It's the gateway to one of the most unsettling medical mysteries ever recorded? A story that blurs the line between science and the supernatural, challenging everything we think we know about the human mind. If you're ready to dive into a tale that might keep you up at night, questioning reality itself, then stay with me. Because Catherine's story isn't just history. It's a warning about the darkness that could lurk within any of us. To truly understand the terror of what happened to Catherine, we have to step back into the grim world of 1871 America. The Civil War had ended just 6 years prior, leaving the nation battered and rebuilding. Cities like Boston were exploding with immigrants, especially from Ireland, escaping famine and seeking hope in the new world. That's where Catherine's parents, Patrick and Mary Doyle, fit in. Patrick labored as a longshoreman, hauling heavy crates at the bustling Boston ports day in and day out. Mary scrubbed floors and cooked meals as a domestic servant in the lavish homes of Beacon Hills, wealthy elite. Their life was tough, cramped in a tiny 2-room apartment in the North End, a neighborhood teeming with Irish families, where the air smelled of fresh-baked bread from local bakeries and the sounds of Gaelic echoed from elders sharing tales of the old country. Catherine, born on March 15, 1862, seemed like any other child in that community for her first 7 years. Playful and curious, she'd romp with rag dolls her mother sewed, help with simple chores like sweeping the floor or setting the table, and attend Sunday Mass at St. Leonard's Church, where she'd recite her basic Latin prayers with wide-eyed devotion. Her teachers at the parochial school described her as a good student, dedicated, friendly with classmates, interested in Bible stories, but nothing out of the ordinary for a girl from her background. No red flags, no hints of genius or oddity. Her parents cherished her. Mary called her "my sweet girl," always eager to help in the kitchen, fretting if Patrick was late from work. Patrick saw her as the light of our house, a beacon of joy, amid the grind of urban poverty. Life was hard, but Catherine made it bearable, until it all changed in an instant. Picture this chilling moment. September 14th, 1869, a crisp Tuesday morning. Mary Doyle would later call it the day I lost my daughter. Catherine woke up late, not her usual early bird self. She descended the stairs with deliberate, almost mechanical steps, like every movement was calculated. No cheerful, "Good morning, Mommy and Daddy." Instead, she sat at the table, staring at her parents with eyes that Mary described as empty, but so very, very old. When asked if she was okay, Catherine replied in a voice that had shifted. Rougher, deeper, like it belonged to an adult. Subtle at first, but as the days turned to weeks, the transformation escalated into something unimaginable. How does a child go from normal to this? It's the question that still haunts researchers today. Suddenly, Catherine displayed knowledge, far beyond her years or education. At family dinners, she'd casually drop facts about historical events with pinpoint accuracy. The American Revolutionary War, describing battles like she'd witnessed them firsthand, details not even in her basics school lessons. Then came the philosophy, quoting Aristotle and Plato, not as rote memorization, but with deep comprehension, debating ideas that stumped her confused father. "Where did you learn this?" Patrick asked. Her reply, with a smile that sent shivers down their spines, "I've always known these things." And her faith? She recited obscure Old Testament passages in perfect Latin, out-theologizing Father O'Brien himself during a church visit. But the real terror? She knew people's secrets, neighbors, hidden marital woes, secret debts, even long-buried indiscretions. Information no child could access. Was she reading minds, overhearing whispers, or something far more sinister? As if that wasn't enough to unsettle you, Catherine's fascination turned dark, obsessively morbid. She'd quiz adults on death in graphic detail, execution methods from history, the tortures of the Spanish Inquisition, ancient assassination techniques, Egyptian mummification rituals. Not with childish curiosity, but with a gleam in her eye, a twisted pleasure that made her smile look cruel, calculated. Adults felt chills. This wasn't play. And her relationship with pain? She started self-harming, scratching her skin raw, until blood flowed, biting her lips to shreds, bashing her head against walls. Yet no cries, no tears, just a look of pure ecstasy, as if agony was her bliss. "Why do you do this?" her mother pleaded. "Because it feels right," she'd say, or worse. "Something asks me to." Animals sensed it too. Stray cats that once purred. At her feet now hissed and fled. Dogs barked wildly, birds avoided her entirely. When Mary asked why, Catherine's cold grin returned. "They know what I am now, Mommy. They're smarter than you humans." The physical impossibilities ramped up next, turning the Doyle home into a house of horrors. This frail 7-year-old suddenly possessed superhuman strength, snapping a solid oak chair in two during a rage, leaving deep finger grooves in the wooden kitchen table that no sanding could erase. Patrick, used to heavy labor, couldn't explain it. She endured extremes, standing rigid for 6 hours straight without flinching, wandering into Boston's brutal 1869-1870 winter in thin clothes, impervious to freezing temps. Once, Patrick found her asleep in the snow, barefoot in her nightgown, no hypothermia, just peaceful slumber. And her eyes, oh, those eyes. They hypnotized, causing headaches, dizziness, raw fear in anyone who locked gazes too long. Brown normally, they'd turn inky black in dim light or during moods, and Mary swore she saw shadows swirling within, like another entity watching back. Desperation drove the Doyles to seek help. As devout Catholics, they started with Father Timothy O'Brien, who'd known Catherine since baptism. Skeptical at first. Just a phase, he thought, until a personal meeting shattered that. She debated doctrine like a theologian, then exposed his private sins, childhood traumas, hidden doubts. Shaken, he performed an exorcism in February 1870, but no demonic thrashing or screams, instead laughter in overlapping voices, reciting the Latin ritual ahead of him. It failed utterly. Medicine next. Dr. Henry Morrison, a forward-thinking psychiatrist trained in Europe. He documented her anomalies meticulously, morbid art of skeletons and torment, fluent writings in Latin, Greek, even hieroglyphs. Plants died in her presence. His office chilled. Headaches plagued him. She knew his secrets too, her gaze feeling like an ancient intelligence dissecting him. The tipping point came one frigid night in February 1870. Patrick awoke to unnatural silence and cold. Catherine was missing from bed. In the backyard blizzard, she stood arms outstretched, embracing the storm, eyes solid black. No whites, no irises. Her voice boomed from everywhere. "The stars are almost aligned, Father. When they meet, you'll—" See, Catherine never really existed. She was preparation for something greater. Terrified, they committed her to Danvers State Hospital the next day, a Gothic behemoth built on old Salem lands, echoing with screams, chains, and despair. Under Dr. Elias Hartwell, a Harvard grad pushing psychiatric boundaries, Catherine arrived. Cooperative, but unnervingly mature. From day one, she revealed hospital secrets, dead patients' details, Hartwell's personal failings. Placed in the pediatric ward, she influenced others subtly. Stable kids turned catatonic, hallucinating a tall, black-robed woman with void eyes. They echoed Catherine's life stories, spoke in unison, formed geometric patterns. Isolated in a barren cell, sessions flipped. She probed Hartwell's psyche, unearthing his childhood drowning guilt. Phenomena escalated. Room temps plummeted 4-6 degrees C, plants withered, objects levitated, staff suffered nightmares, watched feelings. Experiments revealed her savant-like knowledge, predicting deaths accurately, describing strangers' lives from photos, foretelling disasters. By winter 1870-1871, she deteriorated. Skeletal thinness, fur-like hair, prolonged catatonia where voices layered from her, revealing ancient histories. In May 1871, Hartwell photographed her. Photographer Thornton felt the air freeze, light warp. The image? Eyes that follow you, infinite depths, unnatural shadows, haunting experts worldwide. Theories flew, technical flaws, debunked, neurological, anomalies, multiple personalities. Post-photo catatonia lasted weeks without sustenance, yet she lived. Phenomena peaked. Ice-formed windows in summer hurled objects. She died November 2nd, 1871, peacefully, room warming instantly. Autopsy, perfect organs, bizarre brain. Body resisted decay, grave stayed cold, barren. Catherine's legacy endures. Jung saw synchronicity. Modern theories cite epilepsy for knowledge, savant syndrome for skills, electromagnetic fields for anomalies. But gaps remain. No full explanation for the photo or events. Her case shaped psychiatry, inspiring cultural tales of possession and the unknown. It reminds us the mind's depths are vast, mysterious. We document anomalies rigorously, as Hartwell did, to chip at the enigma. If you're craving more historical, chills, impossible cases, staring photos, subscribe now.